Welcome back to the only place you need to go. The only place that you need to search on your phone or your laptop or your TV to find the best hockey content that you can find on the whole internet. Welcome to the Hockey Show. Now, today, we are talking about the Buffalo Sabres and who their best player is. I've gone over the Ducks, the Bruins, and the Coyotes, not in that order. And today we are tackling the Buffalo Sabres, a team that had an obvious choice last year, but things have changed. So let's talk about it. So let's start off with the top guy with the most points and the tallest guy, Tage the Giant Thompson. So, 68 points, 38 goals, 30 assists. Of course, this guy's a huge 6'7". This guy's insane. Every time I saw a Buffalo Sabres game, I was like, this is the guy. This is the guy. You can just he is just a force on the ice. And of course, that's helped by his size, but his skill as well. He uses his combination of size and skill perfectly, more than I've seen a lot of other giant players use. So Thompson, 68 points. I'm just going to say it's going to be a pretty hard hill to climb to be called a better player than him. Of course, he just signed his extension, as I talked about that in my last video less than 12 hours ago. So if you want to check that out. And I think he completely earns it. He's from Arizona, so I'm kind of biased, of course. So I love Tage Thompson. Great pick, great pick. But of course, you've also got the guy who had a breakout year, signed a huge money, big bucks deal, and is gone sour. So of course, that's Jeff Skinner from the Hurricanes to Buffalo, where he had that 40-goal season, was great, and hasn't gotten back there. But I will say, 33 goals and 30 assists isn't the worst thing in the world. 63 points, he's the second guy in points on this team, so I wouldn't say that's bad by any means. I don't know how anyone could say that was bad. 33 goals sure isn't 40 or 45 or whatever he got that one season, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So I don't have a big deal with Jeff Skinner. I think he's, yes, totally overpaid, but I feel like people rag on him way too much than he deserves. It's not his fault that the team decided to pay him for one good year. Wink, wink, Nazem Kadri. So Jeff Skinner is not bad at all, but he's definitely not going to be the pick. Now, of course, you can move on to the defenseman, number one pick overall in 2019, something like that. Rasmus Dahlin, 53 points, 13 goals, 40 assists. The young guy, the young defenseman, the offensive Swedish defenseman back there, of course, is great. We all know Rasmus Dahlin, but I feel like he's hurt by the fact that he's on the Sabres. I would love to see what a guy with his talent could do on a team like the Golden Knights, who knows, just a name, that's actually a winnable team that has like all-around great play. If he gets 40 assists with the Buffalo Sabres, I can only imagine what he could get with like with the Vegas Golden Knights, you know? That would be pretty insane to see what could happen there. I could totally see this guy on any other team being like a 70 points defenseman. If he could get 53 on the Buffalo Sabres, especially Buffalo last year, then I wouldn't be surprised what he could do on any team. But it's kind of hard to tell. 53 points. He's a great defenseman, great overall defenseman, but I would love to see what he could do on a different team. So other than these three top guys that are probably most people's first go-to answers, we got Victor Olofsson. Now, of course, he didn't play all his games last season, but, well, not a lot of players do. I don't know why I brought that up. But Victor Olofsson has been a better... He's a younger... He kind of reminds me of like a Jakub Vrana, right? Where he's kind of like... He's not a superstar player at all, but he is a threat and goes well if you combine him with like another like top star, you know? So Olofsson, I don't really think you could put him as the top player. I don't think anyone's going to write home about him. Even his biggest fans probably wouldn't say that he's the best player on the Boston Bruins. But I think some guys that could jump out this season and maybe potentially grab that brass ring, bring it down to themselves, and name themselves the best player is, of course, Owen Powers. Now, Owen Powers, a lot of people say that he could be a Moritz Seider-like defenseman and impact on this team. Now, I don't see that happening, but I could totally see him being at least a pretty good player this year. I don't think he's going to be Moritz Seider. However, I do like his name, Owen Powers. That's like that's me. But I think he's gonna do good. I think he's hurt a lot by the fact that he's on the Buffalo Sabres. A guy like Moritz Seider is amazing, right? But he's also on the Red Wings where he has some players to play around and they can actually try to get something going. But the thing about Owen Powers on the Sabres that this team has nothing going for them. Like, there's no way he's going to have that impact because it's just going to be so impossible for him to. But to be a defensive impact could be a different story. I could totally see him going in and being like a Victor Hedman defensively. But he's not going to be able to put up those type of points yet. So I think Owen Powers is going to be great, but just he's not going to be able to grab that ring. But someone who maybe is Jack Quinn. So, which is funny because it's like Jack and Quinn Hughes, but it's Jack Quinn. Anyways, I think he had 2 points in the 2 games that he played last season, which, I mean, obviously is the smallest sample size in the world, but 1 game is. Anyways, just the lack of superstar talent on the Buffalo Sabres gives an opening for a young guy like Jack Quinn or like a guy like Dylan Cousins to grab that ring. I didn't put Cousins on the board because, 1, I ran out of room, and also I just don't think he is that type of guy. But Jack Quinn could be. He could be that forward that just goes in there, grabs that ring, and then runs with it and tries to do as much as he can with his first season. I could totally see Jack Quinn being that type of guy. Another guy that I always thought could have been that I wanted to put on the board, but I convinced myself not to, is Casey Middlestat. A guy that we've seen has all like the super skill with the puck in the world, but he just hasn't been able to break out. And you know what they say, winners find ways to win, losers find ways to lose. He hasn't been able to break that. On this type of team, you would think a guy with super skill would be able to do something. I mean, Jack Eichel did. No, I'm not saying Middlestat is Eichel-like, but Middlestat can't produce those type of numbers. He had 19 points in 40 games. So if you scale that out, he's only going to get to 40 points, which isn't contention here at all. So that's just a few guys on here. However, I must say, by the way, I'll bring that up later. But here it is. The golden marker, the marker to name who the best player is, to award the golden star of who the Buffalo Sabres best player is. And for this upcoming season, I was weighing it down. Now, there's some other players that some people might want put, like Okposo. No one's going to say Okposo's their best player. But first off, we can eliminate these guys, right? Victor Olofsson, nada. Owen Powers, potentially, but probably. It's so hard to tell that you can't go off of one season, especially as a defenseman on a poor team. It's not going to happen. Jack Quinn, too much of a gamble to put that on, and I have a reputation to keep. Jeff Skinner, no one's going to say it. People would be aghast by the possibility of him being the best player. So to me, it's between Thompson and Dahlin. And I think that the only person that really deserves this golden star of approval is Tage Thompson. The 6'7" giant is, of course, their best player. There's no way that I can say anybody else on this board has the potential to be the best player. Tage Thompson is the best, and I've just noticed that it's really hard to see that star. Maybe I'll change the color of it, but then it wouldn't be gold, wouldn't be that cool. But Tage Thompson, just with his size and skill, and the fact that he did get the most points last season. Rasmus Dahlin, sure, is a defenseman on a poor team, but I feel like Tage Thompson just brings way more impact to the team when he's on the ice. He's more of a threat than Dahlin is, and I think he deserves to get the Golden Star of Approval. And that's what I have to say about the Buffalo Sabres and who their best player is. So please tell me down below who you think truly is. Do you agree with me, or is it Dahlin? Or do you think it's someone random like JJ Peterka? Tell me down below. Please pick up your free subscription by hitting that red subscribe button. If you liked this video, leave a like, not dislike, and go down below to comments and tell me all about what I had to just tell you to say. So tell me all that down below. Until next time, I have been your nicely, dapperly dressed host, Owen. And until next time, too sweet, and ta-ta for now.